Welcome to Light Sessions with Sloane, the podcast for women who know more is possible and want to bring it into their lives now. I'm Sloane, a personal and professional coach for women. And if you're here, I know you're dedicated to growth and you care about your purpose and impact. Let's dive in to explore living life even more on purpose. So I'm excited to have this conversation with you because this has been something I've been deep in the exploration and actually writing about in my book, which is this idea of the track for women. And what I've come to realize is that all of us as women are on a track, and it's almost like a conveyor belt. You just are on this track and you're being moved along it unless and until you consciously decide to get off of it. And sometimes you have to consciously decide again and again and again. But here's the track. It basically starts off in, let's say, your 20s-ish, where there's certain things you should be doing, like looking for a husband, thinking about having kids. Maybe it's getting ahead in your career. And all these things slowly are like, start to make decisions outside of you. Start to sacrifice yourself in a certain way. Start to think about others even more than you are with you. And it continues on into your 30s and your 40s, only now you better start worrying about what's going on with your body, and you're starting to get older, and you definitely don't want to be older because that's not really cool for a woman in our society. And it moves into 50s, 60s. You are basically becoming invisible. So this track for women is a march to invisibility. And when you just brought up about menopause, I think this is a really powerful conversation for us to have, because I'm looking on one side where it's like, this is the most powerful, potent, amazing, wise, beautiful time for a woman. And then we have what our culture and society currently makes of it. And I want to hear your thoughts.
Oh, I have so much to say about this. Well, I can tell you I have been off track for most of my life, which I think has been helpful, because while people were looking for a husband or establishing their careers or wanting to have kids, I was deep in personal development work from 19 all through my 20s. I studied astrology. I studied all the esoteric stuff, all of the spiritual, not all, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I went in and I didn't really care about those other things. I dropped out of college when I was 19, and I went on this journey of healing, and I went through massage therapy school and became a body worker and a doula, helping women through labor and delivery and postpartum. And it all happened very organically and naturally. And then, to get to the menopause part, when I was a doula, I was part of a doula circle, because all the doulas in the area who were trained by these two amazing ladies, we would get together once a month to talk about our birth stories and postpartum stories, because nobody else in our lives understood all the details. Like, you don't want to have to describe what is Pitocin, what is this, what is that. You know, you just want to tell the story and have it be heard, have it be reflected. So I was part of this amazing group. And one of the women in the group was in her early 50s, and she threw her back out. And so I went to her house to help her out, change her bedpan. She was literally laying on the floor. And so she was all in good spirits, laying on the ground, like thanking me. I was getting ready to go. And then she starts kind of closing her eyes and writhing in her body, just sort of like, oh, almost like Meg Ryan in the, what is it? When Harry Met Sally movie, and I'm just staring at her, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm in my early 20s. I don't know what's going on. And then she opens her eyes, and she's just got this dewy look on her. And I go, are you okay? What happened? And she goes, that was a hot flash. It's the most amazing thing. It's like your own personal sauna. And then when it's over, it only lasts like 60 to 90 seconds. So I just enjoy it. And then when it's done, I just feel like dewy fresh.
Mm.
And that was my intro to menopause.
Wow. That's quite unique.
That's off track, right?
Yeah, that's off track.
That's off track. And so I have not been afraid of menopause. I've always known it's coming down the track. And I also, as you know, I've been a meditator since 2003. And so I've been doing that deeper inner work for 3 decades, really. And now at 53, I've been in menopause for about 2 years, and it has probably challenged me more than maybe anything else in my life.
How so?
My body is doing things I don't have any control over. No matter, you know, look, I'm thriving. This is not like a pity story. This is just the truth of, when even 5 years ago, working out, eating healthy, etc. My body looked amazing, would bounce back, lots of resiliency, and over the last 2 to 3 years, probably it has been like whatever I do doesn't bounce it back. And one of the big shifts that nobody really talks about is that when your hormone production is no longer coming from your ovaries and your pelvic region, and it's now up in the thyroid throat area, it's a physical shift, it's an emotional shift, it's an energetic shift from being embodied in a monthly cycle, or for me, I got my period maybe like every 3 to 4 months. I was never really regular, into this communication center. And as you know, all of our unspoken words hang out behind our jaw and in our throat. And whatever has not been said wants to come out. And so, bless Julian, he was getting puberty on one side with Zoe and then menopause on the other side with me. He's a saint. And yeah, so the physical changes, you talk about self-love. You are like the queen of self-love and self-love practices and self-care as self-love. And it has challenged my capacity for self-love, real, true, unconditional. I love you no matter what your functions are, no matter what you feel like even, I've been having this little like thumb issue, and it's like I am finding myself loving. It's just I'm loving parts of me in different ways that has me go slower in my life, just slowing things down while I'm also ramping things up. Because in business, we have 3 businesses, we filed a patent, there's a lot of moving and shaking going on. And this behind the scenes menopause where nobody would know if they didn't know me, except I'm probably 30 pounds heavier on my frame than I am really comfortable with or enjoy. So this is like more of me to love. That's how I'm receiving it, and not making it wrong. That's just the truth of it right now. And it's not forever. It is what it is now. And I have so much support and help with it. And it is different. Skin's different. The body does different things.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because it's like you're able to, living off the track for so long, you see beyond even all this stuff of society, and still what I hear you saying is that it's a shift. It's different. You're noticing these differences in your body. And so now it's practicing self-love. It's getting used to the differences. And this piece about slowing down, did you just say that? Can you talk more to that, of what that feels like and what you're noticing? Because one of the things I feel is just completely missing from most conversations about menopause is actually how phenomenal it also is, not only for women, but actually we could all be benefiting from women in that stage and beyond. What do you notice about that?
About the slowing down?
Yeah, or any way that you would frame how it's actually better, or you're more powerful, or your leadership, or just anything that you are seeing also with this.
Oh, yeah. There's so many benefits. And that's actually really great. The benefits, right, of menopause. There's so many. First of all, the give a fucks. Where'd they go? Where'd they go?
They're gone.
They're just gone. That happened when I turned 50, actually. All the give a fucks flew out the window. And I had this sense of freedom of real choice, not choice based on what I think somebody else would enjoy or need or benefit, etc. Like real, true choice coming from me and my needs and my desires, considering all involved. And this is part of my practice, and my practice with Julian is what's the highest choice for all involved? And that's what I ask myself when I make choices. The slowing down part, it's almost like living in slow motion, where it's easier for me to see and sense people's needs, people's desires. I can sense when people are starting to like get upset, and it doesn't rattle me. It might also be, of course, part of my, 21 years of meditation practice and, training and all the things. But the menopause piece, first of all, it's a rite of passage. And it's a profound rite of passage, shifting from having a menstrual cycle monthly to now you get to care for your body from the outside in.
What's that mean?
That means that instead of the hormones all being generated from the ovaries and in the brain and then the thyroid, now you don't have access to that. So most women need an external source of hormones. So a cream or pills or, that kind of thing. So it teaches you actually to collaborate with the outside world instead of handling it all on your own. And that, I think, is the most profound shift for me. Is real collaboration has been happening in my life since menopause started. Partially because I need more help. I don't want to do certain things, and I'm not going to people please to do them. And so I want, I've worked with different coaches to help me delegate things that are not in my zone of joy and genius, and to hire team members who are capable and competent and confident and in alignment with our mission and vision. And so to rely on them to actually fulfill what we're doing has been a huge shift. Huge shift.
It's amazing. I'm so appreciative of you sharing about it and sharing so openly. And is there anything else about this topic that you feel like is important to share or that you want to express?
Yes. I think we need to rename the Crone.
Yes. Already I'm a yes.
Okay. So ladies, gentlemen, non-binary, everybody, please, can we find a new name for Crone? Men are not Crones when they pass a certain age. It's only women.
Yeah, it's such a wretched word.
It is. It's like I sort of transform into this like old woman with a cane and hunched over.
Yeah, and we can see this is not this woman.
Okay, that's not who I am.
No, she's quite vibrant.
It's how I feel when I hear the word Crone.
Agreed.
And so I think there's a different name for us as we're entering into elderhood. And elderhood doesn't mean old people. I've been an elder since I was a young person. I think you have too. A lot of people who kind of, were more independent and handled things on their own, tend to be like that. So
what do you think of the word wise woman?
I like wise woman.
Maybe it's like a interim word till we come up with some fabulous word.
Even, I always say my inner wise one. And so that tracks in a good tracking way. And I really like your concept of the track to invisibility, because it is profound, actually, how the gaze shifts in your life from when you're young to when you're super vibrant and in your 20s and 30s, even in your 40s, and just I'm in the taste of the 50s. And I shine from the inside out, so I still get a lot of attention. And, but I see older people and people my age, they're just passed up.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because the way I think of the way off the track is actually developing your inner brilliance, your connection to yourself, your feelings on the inside to be so bright that the invisibility and the track and everything doesn't really apply. And I certainly learned a lot of that from you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have known since I was a kid that this body will age. I've known that intellectually. And I've known that when I'm 80, this is why I never got a tattoo. So no offense to anybody who has tattoos. But I just kind of knew that, what I love now in this moment, I might not love it when I'm 80. Or maybe if I do a happy face, it might look like a sad face. So I was like, I'm just going to not do the tattoo thing for myself. I've always had this awareness of age, and I always felt that I would be 125 years old also. So elderhood and menopause is just a phase. It's not even the middle of the life, And also, people are extending their menstrual cycles late into their 50s now. So a lot of women are able to still have a menstrual cycle if you're taking external hormones. And by the way, I had a victim voice come up around that big time because I've always had such an amazing, resilient body. I never had to take supplements. I never had to take anything to help myself or recover. I just have had this incredible body. And now, when it was first coming on, I even shared this with my, functional medicine doctor. I was like, part of me feels like I now have to take pills or external creams. I can't just be myself. I have to do these things. And the have to is that victim voice. And so I've been shifting that, of course, into I get to do that. 100 years ago, it wasn't even an option, even less than that. But, we're at a stage where we get to have these things. So we don't have to slide into, bone density decline and just all the aging and the sagging and all of the things. We can actually stay pretty robust longer. And I think that shift for me from feeling like a victim of menopause to feeling, which doesn't mean it's gone. It still arises from time to time, but to feeling grateful to have a body to have menopause in.
So beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So beautiful. Thank you for this. Thank you for this conversation.
Yes.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thanks for joining me on this episode of Light Sessions. Follow me on Instagram at Hard and Sloane. Click the link in the show notes. Can't wait to connect with you soon.